Hey, it's Snapey here with another Paladins gameplay. I have Makoa here, and this is not the most exciting gameplay, but I did want to take some time to sort of, I guess, talk about um, what it is to play a tank, particularly at the lower levels, not necessarily when you get to the upper competitive levels. I'm sure there's a whole new meta. Maybe these things don't necessarily apply, but I think for people starting out and maybe just even average players in casual, these might apply. So this gameplay gives me a lot of time to talk about those things because not quite a bit. I mean, not really a lot happens because our team does a really good job on holding the defense, and in fact, I stay alive most of the time, which brings me to my first point. So the first thing that I got out of this gameplay was just be big as Makoa. And I guess this applies to any tank, but Makoa in particular. Just be big, and by just be big, I mean just stay alive, and just be around, and just be a presence. Because pretty much this whole match, I'm the biggest thing that there is. You know, I think on the other team they have Bomb King, and that's it. Everybody else is damage or I guess support, but really there's nothing bigger than me on this on this map, player-wise, I should say. And I need to make sure that I am aware of that, because having so much health, having 4 or 5,000 health is huge when it comes to just survivability and just presence. And so, as a tank, in a map where there's no one else like you, and now this is different if there's going to be a Ruckus or Fernando or another Makoa. I guess this may apply, but especially when you're the only tank and you are out healthing people, you out HP everyone, almost twice the amount for some of them. It's important to just stay alive, and that was what I was trying to do on my team in particular. It was just be alive, because if the opposing team has to focus so much of their time and energy just to take me out, and they do have good bursts, they have Bomb King, they have two, hit scan people with Tyra and Victor, but they have to spend a lot of energy and a lot of time trying to take me out because of my health pool, and because I am such a big target, and so you'll see that I do try to stay alive. I try to go in and out. I do try to stand near the card. I wish I could have saved the Cassie there, but I unfortunately was in turtle shield mode. But my goal is just to be alive, because in instances like that where they may pick off one, I want to make sure that with my hook, my hook combo, I can pretty much take care of the other person. This Victor wasn't that great, as you can see, just standing there after the hook. So not really the best player, but I felt like this Skye I could take care of pretty well, and I think that at least if the Skye came in and did some damage, I could assure that I will be okay. That was a really good shield, because if not, I probably would have died with 49 health left, and I need, again, to stay up and just be alive. And so the second thing I got out of this game was to be flexible. As you'll notice, we have no healer, and playing as a tank, it's sometimes frustrating when there's no healer, because there's no way for you to really gain health except to disengage. But as the front line, I want to be where the action. I want to be standing next to the cart or establishing that front line, and by having to always retreat and go back and heal up, it's hard, especially when I'm not necessarily running lifesteal, and I mostly beefed up my direct damage, which I think was a good choice, considering 4 of them, well, I guess 3 of them had direct attack damage output. But it's just learning to be flexible as a frontliner when there's no healer. And I think everyone was flexible because everyone also had no heals. But being the frontliner, I had to make sure that I changed my playstyle. I couldn't be aggressive. I couldn't necessarily always be in that front line. I had to sometimes move back and heal up. But again, that's what my team needed, and that's okay, because that's what my team needed. I'm not sure if that ultimate was used the best, but hey, also needed to work on my turtle spins, because I think I got caught up twice against the the environment. But again, here I am disengaging, trying to heal up because again, you know, we have no healer. But I think for this game it worked out fine. Again, the opposing team wasn't necessarily the most talented team, but you know, hey, at these lower levels, you get teamed up with a lot of different people, and I'm sure there are times where even this gameplay, I'm not like the most pro Makoa, and I'm sure people would say, oh well, you know, I would have played it differently. Absolutely, I would play myself differently, you know, if I'm playing myself. But again, it's a learning process, and that's sort of what I'm trying to do here. Just have fun and talk about the things that I get out of rewatching these old videos, and hopefully you can at least be entertained, but maybe learn something or two. And the last thing that I sort of got was to make sure that, as especially Makoa, but there's other champions that this applies to as well, is to make sure that I'm utilizing my shield, my turtle shield, for others and not just myself. So obviously I'm paying attention to my own health, and when I see that I'm low, I might either spin out or I might shield to just give me a little bit more extra time to recover. But I'm learning that I need to make sure that I shield up for other people too, and if my health is high like it currently is right now, maybe the Cassie or maybe the Victor behind me is not necessarily up to full health, and they need that extra protection. And so I think that it's important to be mindful of those things. I was especially more made aware of this when I started to play Torvald, which I'm an absolute beginner at. You know, I had a hard time understanding just the mechanics of him, let alone how to actually play him. A lot of shield management, which is very different from any other champion that there is. But I really tried to, when playing him, utilize my shield to give to flankers or even healers. And although it doesn't necessarily last that long, it's still pretty useful. And so I'm getting used to this idea of utilizing my shield, not just for myself as the big frontliner, but also to make sure that those behind me that are dealing out the damage also get protected with that shield. Now again, I know it may seem pretty obvious, don't just shield yourself, but there's no instruction manual with this game. You just sort of play and you sort of develop a style, and I haven't really played a lot of frontline in the past that had the shield capability, and so I think learning and acquiring these skills is or at least this general awareness is something that, I don't know, will maybe translate to other games, but also help me improve as a frontline. I do enjoy the frontline class. I as much as damage is super flashy and damage gets a lot of action and maybe a lot of points or a lot of gold, the frontline I'm learning is pretty fun. You know, you determine that front line. You create where everyone else sort of is allowed to fight, and I think there's a lot of satisfaction in that, especially with the healers. So anyway, those are the 3 things that I got out of this gameplay. Hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.